Harry has finally had his HRH title stripped from the royal family website.
There are growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired hours after he lost his appeal for taxpayer-funded UK.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right? I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony.
Harry's digging an even bigger hole for himself here.
Well, I think he's dug so deep now, he'll strike water any day now.
William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
Oh my God, I can't even. These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
She slaughtered this weekend because there were some business cards in the back of one of her podcasts. She's still using her royal title, HRH, despite our late Queen warning her again.
It's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace. It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
Brothers surrounding Prince Harry and Prince William, and what this change in senior roles for Harry and Meghan means for that particular relationship.
A new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the king in this family feud, ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
He's duplicitous, self-centered, vile, disloyal.
It all began like a faint whisper, the kind that slithers through palace corridors late at night when no one's supposed to be listening. Just tiny murmurs, barely audible, but powerful enough to make the marble floors of Buckingham tremble. People were talking, quietly, cautiously, almost fearfully. Something was brewing in the royal world, and it wasn't just your average tabloid chatter this time. These weren't wild internet rumors or some exaggerated clickbait post. Oh no, this was real, and it came from the heart of the monarchy itself. Word started leaking that the palace, yes, the Buckingham Palace was secretly reviewing the titles of every royal who had stepped away from their official duties. And guess who that list included? You already know Harry and Meghan.
Well, the real measure of success of both of them will be the same as it always has been. How much damage can they inflict on our royal family, on our monarchy? I said it before, I'll say it again tonight. King Charles should strip them of all their remaining titles and cast them out from any connection to the royal family. How could any of them trust them, as far as I could throw them? Because without it, they're just whining millennial windbags with a permanent victim complex, knowing that victimhood is what makes them all the money.
At first, everyone thought it was ridiculous. I mean, really, after all this time, people laughed. Is it off? Said, oh, that's just palace gossip. But the laughter didn't last long, because soon the whispers grew louder. Meetings were happening behind closed doors. Aides were told to prepare statements. Insiders began dropping cryptic messages to reporters. Something wasn't right. Something big was coming. It was no longer a rumor, it was a storm forming behind the palace walls.
The board, he's going to strip everyone that's not a working member of the royal family of their time.
And then came the twist nobody saw coming. Online sleuths, the internet's unofficial detectives, suddenly noticed something strange. A private jet, leaving California, heading straight to London. Within just minutes, every royal gossip page exploded like wildfire. Screenshots of flight paths, jet registries, timestamps all over social media. Everyone was asking the same question. Was Prince Harry on that plane? No entourage, no Meghan. No Netflix crew, just a mysterious private jet slicing through the night sky and leaving behind a trail of digital breadcrumbs that even Buckingham Palace couldn't hide.
With King Charles on his way out, Prince William is expected to take over the crown. And apparently at the top of his list is to say, peace out, Meghan, you're done. And he plans to formally strip Meghan Markle of her royal title.
And then, boom, the internet lost its mind. Was this a secret visit? A desperate attempt to meet the king? Or was it something way bigger? Something tied to those whispers about titles being stripped, speculation went insane. Theories piled up faster than the palace could blink. Every headline screamed, what is Harry running toward or running from?
Questions here to ask about the future of the royal family.
But the question everyone kept circling back to was, why now? After years of distance, silence, and staged politeness, why was the palace suddenly making moves? What triggered this royal earthquake?
I would love reconciliation with my family. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
To find the answer, we have to rewind to something so small, so sneaky, that most people completely missed it. It wasn't a headline, not even a statement. It was a tiny silent update tucked deep inside an official royal document. A single click, one quiet change, and it was enough to light the fuse that would set the entire monarchy on fire.
Prince Harry are facing the grim prospect of a royal revolution. Experts believe we'll see them stripped of their title.
Those who caught it early knew exactly what it meant. That small update, it wasn't a coincidence, it was a signal. A spark that, once ignited, couldn't be stopped. And when it did, the internet went absolutely nuclear.
Breaking news out of London, Buckingham Palace announcing Harry and Meghan will no longer formally represent the Queen. That means they will no longer receive public funds and they will stop using their royal titles. Those changes will take effect this spring. So Katie Nichol is now joining.
It's my pleasure. It's a big news story. As you can imagine over here, it really has, the phone hasn't stopped ringing, put it that way.
And in terms of your initial reaction to this latest news, that in fact it feels like it's a full removal in the sense of not just senior royal duties. But
here's what happened, and brace yourself, because this one move changed everything. Buckingham Palace, without warning, updated its official website. No announcement, no media briefings, nothing. Just a quiet digital shift. But eagle-eyed royal watchers noticed instantly Harry and Meghan's profiles were suddenly pushed way down. Not just below William and Kate that would have made sense. Oh no. They were shoved down near the bottom beside names most people barely recognize. It was like the palace had digitally erased them from royal relevance. No explanation, no press release, just moved. And let's be real, for a family obsessed with image and hierarchy, this wasn't some random website tweak. It was a message. A cold, calculated reminder of who's in control and who's being quietly pushed out of the royal picture. Then came the real explosion. UK outlets, even the BBC, started reporting the unthinkable. Inside Buckingham Palace, serious talks were happening. Talks about royal titles and who truly deserved to keep them. This wasn't gossip anymore. Insiders confirmed that senior advisors were debating whether non-working royals should still have the privilege of those precious titles. And you didn't have to read between the lines to know exactly who they were talking about. Harry and Meghan? Suddenly, Megxit wasn't just old news, it was about to have a sequel. Across Britain, phones started ringing, non-stop in newsrooms. Reporters scrambled, experts rushed to studios. The palace was silent, but the silence said everything. It felt like the monarchy was preparing to do something it had avoided for years, something that could change royal history forever. And when royal sources started whispering about a full removal, you could almost feel the shockwaves travel across continents. Because, let's be honest, this wasn't just about trimming titles. It was about sending a message to the entire world. The crown still holds the power. The headlines came like thunderclaps across London. Every major outlet screamed the same thing. Buckingham Palace in secret crisis, talks over royal titles. Phones were buzzing, cameras rolling, pundits shouting. And in the middle of all that chaos, two names echoed through every newsroom: Harry and Meghan. People weren't asking if it would happen. They were asking when. Is this it? Are they really going to do it? Will the king actually strip his own son of his royal identity? And suddenly, the whispers turned into a full-blown royal firestorm. The British public split right down the middle. Some were furious, shouting, "Finally, it's about time!" Others couldn't believe the palace would dare. They said, this isn't just punishment, this is exile dressed in royal etiquette. The internet, of course, went wild. Memes, breakdowns, hashtags, theories everywhere. Royal watchers were analyzing facial expressions, outfits, even old statements, trying to piece together what went wrong. Behind the polite smiles and official silence, something far darker was unraveling. Because what came next? Oh, it wasn't subtle, it wasn't symbolic. It was personal and it was brutal. A single quiet update on a royal document turned into the loudest message Buckingham Palace had sent in years. Insiders leaked that the palace had begun consulting constitutional advisors, yes, actual government officials, about the rules of titles for non-working royals. Translation? They were figuring out how to legally strip certain members of the royal family of their status permanently. That meant only one thing. Harry and Meghan were officially under review. Reporters described it as a royal audit. Imagine that, checking which family members still deserve their perks, power, and privileges. And right in the middle of all that royal paperwork, another name popped up, Prince William. Apparently, he wasn't staying quiet either. One palace aide leaked that William believed royal titles should never be used as branding tools for personal profit. Ouch. You don't need to be a royal expert to guess who that comment was aimed at. It was like a polite dagger revenge written in royal language. From California to London, that statement hit like a bomb. And almost overnight, Meghan's team went completely silent. No comments, no posts, nothing. Just silence. Meanwhile, royal insiders whispered that the Queen herself, back when she was alive, had been wary of the couple's influence. She reportedly refused to meet them alone, afraid of how their words might later be twisted. That revelation sent shockwaves through royal circles. If the late Queen had feared them, what did that say about their legacy? The palace wasn't just protecting the crown, it was preparing for war. And that's when Harry made his move. According to insiders, he picked up the phone and called his father's office directly. What happened on that call? Chaos. Voices were raised, tempers exploded, and just hours later, boom flight trackers went insane. A private jet had taken off from California. Its destination? London. By nightfall, the internet turned into one giant royal reality show. Thousands of people were glued to flight tracking apps, following every pixel that represented that sleek Gulfstream jet cutting through the night sky. Was it him? Was it really Harry flying back to confront his father? No Meghan, no Netflix crew, no security detail. Just Harry alone, flying straight into the storm. British tabloids went into overdrive. One headline read, "Prince Harry rushes home amid royal title crisis." Another claimed, "The fallen prince returns to fight for his crown." And while the world watched the skies, the palace moved quietly behind closed doors. Because while the flight was crossing the Atlantic, King Charles was already in a meeting. A very private, very strategic meeting at Clarence House. Top courtiers, legal advisors, even Privy Council members were there. Their mission? To discuss streamlining the monarchy, a polished phrase that meant one thing: cutting out the weak links. Inside those gilded walls, the conversation was ruthless. This wasn't about family anymore. It was business monarchy as a corporation, and the brand needed protection. Every insider said the same thing. Charles wants a modern monarchy. A smaller, cleaner, more respected version, one that doesn't rely on reality TV interviews or streaming deals to survive. The word that kept echoing through the palace halls? Streamlining. It's the same word they whispered when Prince Andrew was stripped of his HRH. And now it was back this time, attached to Harry and Meghan. Outside, the press was calling it the crown's quiet correction. Inside, it was war by the paperwork. No screaming, no scenes, just quiet, devastating action. And it worked. By morning, the headlines had changed tone. Now it wasn't just about gossip, it was about history. Parliament itself had started paying attention. MPs were revisiting an old 2022 proposal that could give Parliament the power to strip royal titles from those who no longer serve the crown. That's right, it was no longer just a royal decision, it was political. Meanwhile, in Montecito, Meghan's team scrambled. Her PR people rushed to release statements insisting that all of this was a private, family matter. But the internet didn't care, because by then, the damage was done. Comment sections were savage. "You can't monetize royalty and then play the victim," one said. "She's relentless. She's shameless. She's exhausting," another wrote. The sympathy that had once surrounded the couple, gone, replaced by skepticism, exhaustion, and outrage. And then, another shockwave, online trackers once again spotted a private route leaving California. This time, the jet's details matched Harry's previous flights exactly. It was like deja vu, and royal watchers lost their minds. Was he going back again? Was this desperation or damage control? Nobody knew for sure, but one thing was clear. The world was watching and the palace was winning. Because while Harry's plane chased the dawn, King Charles was already 3 steps ahead. Behind closed doors, his advisors were finalizing what sources called a constitutional review, how to handle royal titles for non-working family members once and for all. Every single word was deliberate, every move measured, no emotion, no drama, just royal strategy. And when the king finally acted, he didn't need a speech, he didn't need a camera. He didn't even need to say Harry's name. All he had to do was sign. And just like that, the monarchy changed forever. When Buckingham Palace finally released its quiet update, the message was deafening: loyalty over legacy. No drama, no press statement, only silence, the kind that cuts deeper than words. Across Britain, the public gasped. Some called King Charles ruthless, others called him brave, but everyone knew this was more than family business. It was history unfolding in real time. For Meghan, that royal title wasn't just decoration, it was identity, power, and leverage. And for Harry, losing it meant something far worse, losing the only piece of the crown he still carried. The plane had landed, but the storm was far from over. Because in this new royal chapter, there are no second chances, only consequences. And this time, even the crown couldn't hide the cracks.